Okay. Alright, I think we got everything in order.
Oh my God, it's Greg. You're working on it on the video game.
I'm doing it. Yep.
Is
Yep. I said I was gonna do it, and
what changed?
what changed? I have time during the day now. I'm no longer babysitting 100% full time.
Is is it going to school now?
He's going to school full time now.
Oh fuck, I'm old.
I mean, you can't be that old, John. I'm getting close to 40s. You're coming up soon. Everybody, this is the thing. Everybody younger than me being like, "Oh man, I'm getting old. I can't believe I'm about to be 30." It's like I already passed that point.
How old is it?
I don't want to talk too much about my kids' like personal
Oh, okay.
information on the
Yeah, okay. Oh God. Is when's the current podcast thing coming out? How many parts is it?
The podcast. I don't know exactly how many parts it'll be. It's probably going to be really similar to Chosen Ones. It was a whole campaign, just like Chosen's one. Chosen Ones was supposed to be a campaign, but then got scuttled, and we played um, Dungeon Men instead.
Man, okay. I don't listen to them until they're done.
Okay. Well, they're going to come out a little bit more regularly now. In fact, today we're only going to stream till about noon, and then I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and I'll just start doing some recording for the podcast. The next episode will get out. You're not the only one who does that. I've heard other people tell me that, and that's been the big drawback of the the longer ones.
I don't I don't know how you do it. It's like I would imagine you would write them all out and then do it, but you do them parts.
They're mostly ad libbed, but they're based on games that already happen. So really, all I have to do is just I don't know, remember the gist of what happened during the game, and then go ahead and do it. Go ahead and just act that out.
Yeah, that's just wild to me.
Yeah, well, it's always how it's been. Even the mentally advanced series, there was a lot of ad libbing. Rainbow Dash Presents was always scripted, but uh,
Yeah, I remember
yeah,
that. It's yeah, it's I always figured podcast audio dramas would be the way to go for you because I feel like that you're really good at that, but then the animation always took forever. So this just seems like a good mix.
animation does always take forever. There's not really a Yeah, there's no way around that. But the animation, the nice thing about the animation that I always liked was it offers freedom that oh dang it, my pegs are reversed. Anyway, though, it offers you can tell fun visual stories that normally you it's harder to tell vocally. Like you can do visual gags and visual jokes and things like that. Got Rolo
Yeah,
over
I
here
mean,
in the YouTube chat saying like me at 27. Just think about it. Like 30 feels like a big number, and what I can say about like I got to 30 and certain health things were notable. Um,
back issues.
yeah, like back issues was the big one. That was the one that was most noticeable.
I hear people say yoga for that one.
I don't know. Oh,
About
man.
3 more months till the New Year. Yoga for a Dream does like a New Year's challenge.
I tend to find doing actual exercises helps out a lot more. Like, um, it's really handy to just like do lifting for
Do you
that.
lift still?
Yeah, I mean, like, not a lot. I used to be, really into like unarmed combat and stuff like that, and so I worked out a lot when I was younger. But these days, it's just to stay kind of in shape and to not develop that dad bod too badly.
It's you've been off camera for a while, Greg.
Like, it's still, people still see me in the public. You don't wanna be dad bod for life.
No, no, I just mean I don't know how the dad bod is progressing.
It's doing good. You don't have too much dad bod. Two bit comes out to see me in person sometimes, and he was saying like, "Oh, look good for a dad."
I mean,
Not.
I think like a guy's physical strength peaks like around your ish age. It's like older.
It's really downhill from 40 onward. So I'm starting to get to that point where like keeping up any kind of physique could be really challenging. But you can still just stay like trim and not put on too much weight. I've been starting to change my diet a little bit. That's the other thing is that you get into like your 30s and it's a little harder to get away with really junky food or anything like that because you're more likely to um, put on weight from eating too much sugar.
Get all the fancy diets, kitchen full of probiotic pills.
Just eat yogurt for that. For probiotic. Which I guess is kind of full of sugar. You can get healthy sugar. Like, I'm not that crazy about it. It's a mix of like slightly better eating than I used to and exercise. No more bowls of ice cream every single night. Used to be.
I'm glad you're staying fit or trying to. It's, stay healthy, stay alive a bit longer, a few more podcasts.
Yeah, I'm trying to. We'll see how long I make it. I gotta go in and see the doctor. I don't do very many regular checkups, but I got like a little one of those. Like this is a concerning mole. It's like red. Gotta go get that checked out. Yeah, skin cancers. I think one of the more treatable kind of things though, like melanoma is a little bit more.
Yeah, those are more treatable. That's do you wear sunscreen?
I don't go out as often as I used to, but I used to work outside. So
yeah, did you when you?
I feel like I pretty much never wore sunscreen when I worked outside, which might not have been wise on my part. But that's fine. I tanned up pretty quick, and I think that's supposed to protect you, right? So yeah, I don't know. It might.
The damage is already done at that point.
Yeah, it might not be anything. It's whatever. It's one little red spot, but I'll have the doctor check it out. We've got a doctor who basically recommends like the most extreme measures every time we go see her, so I won't be surprised to just be like, yeah, what do you think? And she'll be like a specialist, and we'll do this other stuff.
Oh,
So like okay.
Let them be the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, on the bright side, she'll never miss. She won't miss things through like being under cautious, but it does require sometimes because she'll throw that at you and she won't like press it, but she will be like, we could go see a cancer specialist right now if you want. And it's like, I don't know, cancer specialists to charge a lot. If you think I can get away with not going, then I'm gonna like go. So you got to like push back on the doctor a little bit, and then she'll be like, okay, well, it's not an essential thing.
Do you have good insurance?
It's okay. Like it's kind of like it's like bog standard to go. It's through my wife's work, and it's fine. It's fine.
All right. Oh, I got a job at some point. I'm in the workforce now.
Ooh. Yeah, what the heck? What are you working? What kind of job you got?
It's just computer stuff. It is relevant to the extent that I've been considering donating to your Patreon.
Ooh. It's always my favorite
Because I
kind
can afford that now.
It was my favorite kind of workplace results. Is workplace results where I get paid to work.
How much would I have to pay you in order to be in a D&D campaign that gets turned into an episode?
It's not a paid thing.
It is not, but there is a price.
I mean, it does get a little weird if you have to pay for it. Partly because you would have to. Artisan is one of our members, and essentially you'd have to be willing to deal with all kinds of shenanigans, because shenanigans are kind of the name of the game. I guess you're not following the current dungeon plot.
No. Wait, is that campaign still going?
No, it's done.
Okay.
We're kind of thinking about what we want to do next. Originally, I was thinking that it would be fun to do a game where I was thinking everybody would be like monsters in like a, like Crystal Lake or whatever, but there was like an ancient burial ground or something where like an ancient race was buried and they really hate premarital sex. And so they're just out there guarding the ancient burial ground from teenagers who might have premarital sex somewhere in the general vicinity. And it was going to be like a day job for all the monsters. So it'd be like a Frankenstein and Jason. And then one of them I was hoping to set up as a Scooby-Doo villain, where it'd just be like a guy who accidentally stumbled into this, and they thought that he was like a fellow movie monster type of thing, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can help us guard." And he's just, he's trying to like he thinks there's treasure on the ancient burial grounds. He's like, have you guys ever considered, like, what if we just, like, I don't know, what if we just like broke in there ourselves to see if there's anything in there? Wouldn't that be great? And like, yeah, so that was kind of the gist of it. And I don't know. The only problem is I haven't been able to figure out how to turn it into an actual game idea. Like, it's a fun story idea, but where's the game? Like, where are the game aspects? So it could be a good podcast, but it would be utterly fictional in as far as like, did somebody play this? The answer is like, no, nobody played this. This would just be entirely made up.
I have heard people suggest that maybe that is the way you should be going with things.
Or just completely making things up.
That you'd be really good at just writing.
I mean, I could, but then I wouldn't get to play the game.
Yeah. That is a neat part of the process. I showed your show earlier to someone, and then revealed that you were the voice actor for everything, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's." Which is, I got that sometimes when showing your show to people. Sometimes people are like, "Yeah, it's obvious, it's like just one guy," but then other times it's like, "Oh my god."
It's I always like the ones where people get attached to the characters and they're like, I thought this was multiple people. And now it's like they're all dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, you killed them all. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that sometimes, and those ones always crack me up. It's just like you killed all my friends. Like, I really like these guys, and then it was all just you.
No, no, now you get one mega friend.
One mega friend. I'm all the friends. I'm every friend.
Who needs multiple friends when you've got Greg?
Yeah, yeah. I'll just be everybody. Uh, yeah, but that's my favorite. That's my favorite take that I hear.
They're all run on the hero system still.
Yes, they are all run on the hero system.
I tried playing D&D at some point and was not the biggest fan of it. I'm not sure if it was because of the system, but it just felt really linear. Like we were just supposed to go to this place, fight these people, and then advance, and then there was like no room for creativity.
There are different GMs who will play D&D in different ways. It is a common complaint, though, that D&D is pretty much geared towards being D&D and not really being anything else. I mean, it's very much built around, from its inception, it was kind of built around this idea of like you're going to go into a dungeon and you will stab a goblin, and the goblins will try to stop you from doing that because no goblin really wants to be stabbed to death. But that's just the kind of the central conceit of D&D is that you're going to be trying to kill goblins, more or less.
It's yeah, I heard a lot of complaints about that in the not oh my god, your fucking title.
The Not D&D podcast.
Yeah, but the one where you guys are playing D&D, but it's not D&. I you know the one.
Not the Not D&D episode. Oh
The
yeah, I
not
guess I
D&D episode of not we will not play D&D.
yeah, I guess that would be confusing that I've done that, as I have a Not D&D episode that I've named Not D&D. So that way you can't communicate when you're talking about that specific episode.
Okay, yeah, the not D&D episode of the We Will Not Play D&D podcast.
Yeah,
It's a good podcast, Greg. You make good stuff. I like the podcast. I try and show it to people when I can. It's just I can't imagine the SEO is like manageable.
It's terrible. It's terrible. My SEO is always terrible. It's never been good. I hate the SEO stuff. I know I have to do it. I know I'm supposed to do it. But like, I don't know. The practices are always just so frustrating.
I don't know. At this point, maybe it's too late to change the name. But I remember when the podcast was first coming out, I was campaigning to change the name to some extent.
There were some fun suggestions. One of the ones that I liked was "Do Not Dungeon."
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I do kind of like. I did like that one. But I don't know. It's been running. It's fine. It's fine. We will not play D&D. It's a great big name. It's difficult to do.
Is the podcast growing? What are the stats like?
It's hard to tell because you kind of get this. The stats are very broken up. You sort of get like people are watching in a lot of different places, which is good because it's not like YouTube where you get locked into like this is the only system that you can possibly live in.
Let's go like that.
Yeah, but as far as like how is it doing, is it being seen by people? It's hard to tell. I know that the bandwidth usage has been steadily going up because I can see how the RSS feed is using bandwidth, and the oh, here, it just occurred to me. I'm actually being done with this. I should put the little joint ball down in the front. But anyway, so the bandwidth usage has consistently been going up, and that's a good sign as far as like is it being watched, because that means that people are watching it, and it's being watched relatively consistently, at least by the people who are watching it. As to whether it's growing, that's a little harder to say, just because bandwidth is going up, but also I'm posting new episodes, so it implies that people are watching more stuff as more stuff gets posted. So it sort of seems like occasionally people must be either rewatching old stuff very frequently, like they just go through the whole catalog all at once and then watch everything. Or
Actually, yeah, I do that.
okay, so yeah, so there's that. Or also new people are finding it and then kind of just following along and watching the new stuff. So yeah, it's hard to say what exactly that kind of growth, what kind of like bandwidth usage, what exactly that means. If you follow, like, what does Apple have to say about it? I would say Apple kind of implies that it's like I don't know. It's like they have like a new users kind of and in that case, like Apple would make it seem as though it's probably not growing that much. But it's hard to say because we get new users on a bunch of different platforms. So like Spotify also has like new user metrics. So it's got like there's this many unique users on Spotify, and then we've got people who are using the RSS directly and everything like that. So it's several hundreds on both Spotify and on Apple. But I mean, that's as much as I know. It's just like I definitely have several hundreds of people who are listening to it. Exact numbers, no idea.
All right, I guess that makes sense. I kind of expect. I thought you'd get more concrete stats like that just because I'm used to YouTube analytics, I guess. But I guess this makes sense.
Yeah, I honestly feel like even YouTube analytics actually are not that effective at providing any real data because there's so much botting and everything going on now. They don't really like. They also kind of lie to you about stuff. They'll be like, "Yeah, you're doing great. Everything is fine." And we're showing your videos. We showed your videos to like 1,000 people, and I'm not really convinced that they do show my videos to like 1,000 people or whatever when they say that they do. It doesn't feel like it. Like I don't know. Like it's all very strange. You just kind of have to take their word for it when they're just like, yeah, we're definitely showing you to everybody. Like we're definitely doing what we promised we would do. Because it's all a black box. That's actually on that note. That's something that was an issue for not just me, but I think like mainstream advertisers. I think there's a lawsuit going on about that right now. How there's no real way to determine whether or not Google is being honest with you about who's seeing you and who's not.
There was that whole thing, big Facebook drama a while ago where the videos were auto-playing for like half a second and that count as a view.
Yeah, they do all kinds of deceptive things to make you think that you're doing better than you are. And yeah, there's. I mean, like you just have to trust them, and they're untrustworthy.
Well, here things are changing. Google's being broken down as a monopoly. OpenAI is adding a search feature. Things are changing with content discovery a bit.
Yeah, uh, the monopoly thing is really huge. I'm like shocked that they got hit with that, but that's still developing. We'll see if anything actually comes of that.
I didn't they win? Oh,
Google Google lost the lawsuit. They have been classified as a monopoly, but the big question now is that going to mean anything? Like, are they going to do anything to Google?
also, Rallo, this was drama from years back. Facebook was like as you scroll down your feed, there's like videos would autoplay, and then if they played for like half second, it'd count as a view. And then BuzzFeed said they shut down because of that, but or at least because BuzzFeed was unprofitable for years before that and stuff like that. So it's a long path. I don't know. It's Google. I don't know if anything's going to change with podcasts and videos and stuff. It's just search results, so it's more news articles.
Um, with podcasts, it's hard to say because podcasts are kind of like Google must want podcasts to be in their purview because they're encouraging it. Um, like that's actually why not D&D is on there now. And then they were just incredibly clumsy in the way that they uploaded it. Like I was expecting them to draw from my RSS like every other program does, and instead they just took everything and they were like, okay, this is all these are all YouTube videos now, and it's like, whoop, okay, that that's so like I posted the new pony video and people were like, oh wow, your channel's in like really bad shape. Look at this, you only have like 7 views on some of your videos, and I'm like, yeah, that's not.
Oh, is that why you're posting Dungeon Men Part 14 and stuff on YouTube?
Yeah, because now it's just drawing from the RSS. I mean, it was something like Google clearly wants that content now, and so it's. I feel like it's been a long time since they've introduced anything that felt like it was intended to benefit people, and that was just something it was just so easy. It was just like just link your RSS feed, and we will automatically upload new videos. And I thought like, well, I know some people have been asking me for those videos on YouTube. So I said like, well, if it's completely automatic and I don't have to do any work at all, then I honestly have no excuse not to do it.
It is strange to me where you are willing to put in effort and not like, to me, making a piece of content, like animating a whole thing over the course of a week seems like a lot of work, but then you won't just do like some SEO stuff.
Well, SEO stuff it's I feel like there's a lot of diminishing returns on it because I've done SEO stuff, I've worried about SEO stuff, and the problem is you can spend a lot of time worrying about SEO and you won't necessarily get returns unless you're really doing it like hardcore to the point of I don't know, probably hurting yourself and your viewers in on a certain level, or if you're already very big and being promoted. So if you're like already fine and you don't really need help, then it's worthwhile. But just knowing SEO is not enough to necessarily grow something.
Yeah, it's I have seen this MMA channel that I've been following for a bit, and he's just been stagnating but still putting up videos. I clicked on one of his videos and he was just like in the intro, instead of talking about MMA, he was just complaining about how he was doing SEO and just nothing was working and his videos weren't getting views.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like a lot of people do SEO. So if you start doing SEO, it's just that you're just one more person competing for the SEO stuff. And again, a lot of times it's like good SEO practices are not good human practices. You find that it degrades the quality of your stuff for the people. It makes it harder to parse and harder to find because the AI works differently than people do. So I don't know. I just don't.
I assume it's just like thumbnail stuff is mostly well what I noticed changing. I guess is I don't look through the tags in the video, but
There's a couple of things that you can do, but yeah.
there was a big Veritasium video where he was talking about have you seen the Veritasium video on like changing the thumbnail?
Um. Mm-mm.
Like there's a Veritasium video where it's the science, you know, the science guy Veritasium. He's a science YouTuber. He made a video on like changing YouTube thumbnails after uploading, which is what I see with most creators now. Like you'll see a video recommended and you're like, maybe I'll get around to it later. You come back a couple hours later and the thumbnail's changed.
Oh yeah, YouTube actually does that automatically now. Um, it'll try to help you with that because people do A/B testing with their thumbnails to try and get them to.
Okay, I didn't realize. I thought they were just doing manually, but they are still making multiple thumbnails.
Yeah, A/B testing with thumbnails is a common practice now. It is something that is done.
Greg, is the price point to be in a campaign that will turn into an episode?
I mean, I can't give you a price point for it. That's like I said, I've never thought about that, and it's always been just like it's just a game we play.
Yeah, but I'm not really part of the group. I'm not active in this community anymore. It feels more like a thing to pay for. I don't know.
The broader problem is that the group's actually overfilled, so we don't. It's not just Lowry and everybody. We have let me see how many players right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say six active players. I think 7 if you include myself, which is a very large role playing group. So we would have to boot somebody, or somebody would have to quit to make space, and that's kind of how people get in. One of our more recent guys got in, I think, because someone else left the group, and then they just at that time, like within that week of that happening, they said something about role playing, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to like join a role playing game?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, sure." So I don't know. It's more of an availability. The big issue is the availability. I wouldn't like charge you to join if there was a space open.
I've been watching your stuff for years, Greg. It's I've got a job now. I've got the money, like to support the channel. So I would like to pay to join.
Yeah, but I can't. I can't. I'd have to throw someone else out.
Well, yeah, no, I'm like when the spot opens up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like if the if we get a spot open, then yeah, I can let you know, but we're doing pretty good as far as people staying in at the moment, which I'm proud of because they're staying in because the games have been fun.
What's the current game?
The current game Artisan is running. I'm not going to use it for a not D&D episode, but it's a dwarf game. It's based on a dwarf fortress that he has.
Wow. Wait, so when the characters change who's DMing in the podcast, is that when you don't DM?
Sometimes, like
Like I don't remember
it,
which episode.
I try to fit the character personalities to the characters that are being played. So, for example, Artisan is normally like a lot of times Elvis is actually Artisan, and so in most episodes you're seeing Artisan playing the character, or you're seeing a character that Artisan played. If you're looking at Elvis, but
Which one are you?
I'm often Paul. I have also been Mason in the past, but it varies. I try to fit them to the character.
I'm really bad at names. The Paul is the grumpy one.
Paul's the one that's just my regular speaking voice. Roller says the podcast playlist all at once does make it difficult. Okay, so here's something interesting. If you go to my channel, like the main channel page, I have, and very few people do this because YouTube is so, I mean, it doesn't encourage this, but I've put everything into individual playlists. So just scroll down to the D&D podcast if you want to see individual, like, arcs, and they're all put together in podcasts. So you can, like, listen to the podcasts by their arc instead of instead of having to yeah. Yeah, like I say, it is it is not something that YouTube really seems to encourage. But that my whole all those videos, we do so many videos, and people are like, oh man, this, like, we've got so much stuff, it's so hard to find your work. It's all there in playlists. It's actually not as difficult as it seems.
Now all you have to do is make an announcement, I guess, to everybody who checks out your channel looking for stuff.
Yeah, be like, hey everyone, we've organized the channel, and it has always been organized. It's just that very few YouTubers ever actually do that. So you wouldn't know, and you can be forgiven for not knowing.
Oh god, yeah, no one's ever gonna find it.
No one's ever gonna know. Yeah, it's most of the time, if you go to a YouTube channel, you will never, you just don't see channel organization, because I mean, it's not the way people find video is through not being directed to a channel, but by being recommended a video.
That is how I usually go.
That's the number one way to get found.
Lily's excited you're making a new animation, Greg.
Yes. This is for a video game, and there will be animations in the video game, which is why we're bothering to make rigs and everything for it. But yes, we're doing a multimedia project. Okay, good. Just making sure I didn't accidentally erase the symbols. That happens sometimes. Erase the drawings.
Last time I checked in on this, which was 3 years ago. I don't remember how long it's been. But there was no voice acting in this game.
There's no, it's all text, but there will be cutscenes and stuff like that, and so For example, I was gonna have the opening, and it's not gonna be voice acted, but it'll just be like a computer screen, and it turns on. It's like it'll be like a boot screen, but with all that kind of like welcome to, Tekrin Soft, Soft. It's actually an RPG, Lily. So it's gonna be built in RPG Maker MZ, which is a struggle into itself because RPG Maker MZ isn't the most effective, or isn't the most. It's not the easiest to get what you want out of it, but you can twist it and shape it and force it to be something new if you really want.
Text is easier to translate, Greg. It's we'll be expecting this game in 5 languages minimum.
Okay, so I'm looking at. So here's how they organize the sprites, because MZ is very specific. The stab animation is not going to be used, and I'm trying to. This is like an evasion animation, so I'm looking here, and now I'm realizing either this is the evasion or this is the evasion. They sort of just use the same. They also kind of lazy with it. So I was like, is this the escape? We may as well we'll bust it out. We'll look at. Open up Steam here. We'll launch RPG Maker. It's all about the creativity. Anyway, though, yeah, we're started. We got this little guy. I did another icon the other night, and the icons are fun because I do a lot of modding for Stellaris. In Stellaris, there's a lot of icons for like technologies and stuff like that. So I got really used to like making a big icon and then shrinking it down so that it still looks good. So the details can be sloppy for the big icon, but then when you shrink the resolution down, it kind of blurs it all together a little bit. And the important thing is just the readable details. So you can be a little sloppy with the big stuff, and then the shrinky dink version looks really good. But anyway, we need to find out what even animation. Okay, so that's the runaway animation. This is the evasion animation I've just done. What I would like to be the evasion animation. So that'll be like way at the bottom. What are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You drew all those?
No, these come with RPG Maker MZ standard.
Oh.
2, 3,
yeah, they didn't look like art style.
45. So this will be sprite number 46. Yeah, RPG Maker does this chibi thing that I don't really like, honestly. It's not like other people don't really like it either. Okay, 46. Evade. This might not even get seen, come to think, because we don't really have evasion. We just have... enemies missing, because I've changed the code for how the battles work and everything. So, like the way it works by default is that there's technically supposed to be a bunch of check. So it's just a percentile check, like 1 to 100, of like, oh, you got a 99% chance to hit. It is actually. I am not sure of this, but I think it's possible that the new Final Fantasy thing, I think that those might be those may very well be RPG Maker things because the way that they do like the particle effects and things like that on those ports, they look just like RPG Maker. Like it's interesting. I couldn't prove it, but it looks like it. Let me see. Let me take. This is gonna be the runaway animation, so we want. We're gonna want to have them kick their legs out and look like they're running. Got chicken legs. I have many regrets with chicken legs. EP, who is a professional animator, warned me once to never ever do chicken legs, and I ignored him because I know better. I know better than to listen to season. No better than to listen to a seasoned professional.
What's the problem with chicken legs?
Just that they work a little. They're a little more complicated than human legs are. Like the joints are a little bit more.
Oh, I thought you meant skinny. You meant like backwards.
No better than to listen to a seasoned chicken leg. What do they know?
All these Patreon tiers are just $1 apart.
Yes.
And they're the same reward.
Yes. Yes. Originally, I didn't really have patron rewards. So what's going on with that is, for a little while there, Patreon was like, okay, we're gonna start making your people. Or they did something with the fee structure. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like you had to. They were going to obfuscate exactly how money got to you, and that was very frustrating. So I recreated. I recreated all the tiers to be like, here's how much I'm actually earning. If you were interested, and
oh, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. So then they went back on that because I was not the only one who was really mad about it.
Still the same.
Yeah, I haven't changed my thing. They went back, but I didn't change anything. Like, listen, just because they changed doesn't mean I need to go back and fix my stuff.
I think that's part of your job.
It's okay. I mean, like it doesn't really matter. We just have like a bunch of tiers, and they just don't do anything. I wouldn't know what to do with them anyway.
You could send people stickers in the mail. That's what most people do, I think.
I can, but then you know what? I have to pay like a sales tax on the stickers.
There's more work.
It's more work and it's dangerous. The IRS will come after me. I actually had the Missouri IRS tried to grab like $10,000 from me because because they were just like, is any of this from some kind of sale? Like, did you give a physical product? And I had to like talk to an agent and be like, no, I swear I would never give people anything for being my patron. I promise you. I promise you, Department of Revenue. And yeah, like they just hit me with a big arbitrary bill because it was like they had no way of knowing. It was just based on theory of like theoretically you could have been selling people money, and they just sent me they were like $10,000 seems about right. So I was like, no, it doesn't. Can we talk about this? So selling things. I would have to start paying sales tax to the the state, and I don't.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was part of it.
That is part of it. It was part of doing business. I called them and they were like, "Do you have a?" They were like, "Do you have a license to be selling?" Because that's the other thing is I have to apply for a license in Missouri, to sell things. And if I don't have one, then that's also a fine. So there's like paperwork I have to do to actually be distributing goods through Patreon. Because I called them and they were like, "Do you have a license?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And then they were like, "You screwed up, fool!" Like the lady that I was talking to was just like, "Oh, we got you good," and it was like, no, because I didn't actually have to do any of this. It's not that I screwed up and I didn't get all the proper licensing.
It sounds like a scam.
Well, it's not a scam.
Are you sure you weren't just like called by just some trolls from 4chan?
No, it was the Department of Revenue. Sent me a bill. I had to go through the Missouri website and everything. It was a big scare financially. Because again, like $10,000, it was wild. Like I was like, I didn't even make like what the heck? Like I was doing the math, and it was just such an outlandish number. Like I think that they just come to that number because they kind of ask like, all right, would you settle that or would you go to court over it? And it was just sort of like a number that you wouldn't go to court over because court would cost more than the penalty that they were issuing.
Did you actually have to pay that?
No, because I called them and I was just like, what is this? And they were like, did you sell any like physical goods? Did you give away physical goods as rewards on Patreon? And I was like, no. And they were like, okay, you're fine. But yeah, but it was a big scare. You can't just do that and not have the state have opinions on it. That the state cares if you. You can't just do it.
I don't know what else people give out over Patreon.
Well, I mean, like I said, you can give out items like physical items. It's fine. It's just that you just have to be aware. You need to pay taxes on it. Just don't do it without checking your state regulations. That's the only catch. Make sure that you're square on all of your legal paperwork. This is life. Lily asked, "Am I still married to my engineer wife?" Yes, I am still married to my engineer wife. She is in fact the whole reason I am able to survive. She picked me up from the wild and she's stuck now. She's stuck feeding and watering me for a while. Screw that up there. Right. I think that's a proper. That's a fine escape motion. My wife, because she's an engineer, she's played City Skylines, and she sometimes comments on how much she would like to. You're an hour late for Greg's stream, Lex. Yes. I'm only going to stream until about noon today. And then and then I'm going to go ahead and close it out and do some recording for the Not D&D podcast. So we're gonna do short today. It's going to be shorter today. But today we're doing animations. But anyway, I guess my wife really likes the fact that in City Skylines you can just demolish somebody's house and you don't have to like ask permission. You're just like, you're in the way of efficient traffic, sir. You just like blow it up. You're like, there. And it's so much easier to make working roads when you can just blow everything up and then make a perfect road afterward. You can just displace families, everything. Yeah, like, haha. This is so much better. So improved. Okay, so that's the retreat. And then this is something. He's just got his fist up. He's got a couple of emotions that we're really not going to use. And we could fill them in and maybe use them during like dialogue in the game. But to come back and see like what. Looking for that. Hello, Carabella. Yes, the government thanks you for your sacrifice in the name of efficient infrastructure. So actually, Amsterdam, they have a law called Make Way for the River, basically. And one of the reasons why Amsterdam has such efficient infrastructure is because basically you got to get out of the way of the engineering. That's one of the rules, one of the laws. Well, good public transport and like bus lanes and everything else is legitimately how you solve traffic problems. Like, it's very European in the fact that, like, yeah, it really emphasizes that and everything. But what was neat about City Skylines, and one thing my wife really liked is, okay, she's a civil engineer. So I would play the game and, like, traffic flow is improved by best lane practices or best practices that are applied in genuine engineering. So like a diverging diamond is actually a really effective interchange in city skylines. But genuinely, really, the best way to make traffic be efficient in city skylines is to have a really robust public transit system, because then everybody just takes the public transit and they stay off the roads, except for your heavy traffic, like your trucks and stuff like that. So, I mean, it is like the car centric infrastructure that we do in like the United States and Canada and everything. It's actually really bad because it's so space inefficient. Like a car carries 1-2 people, but they're so big, versus like a train will carry 40 people, and it's like a little it's so much more effective. Anyway, though, let's try and figure out what animation. Okay, so I have no idea. I'm trying to guess what the heck this is. What is this fist raise thing? Do we even use it? Here's this victory animation. I think this is like a gun or a bow or something like that. This is casting a spell. I'm pretty sure this is...
Are they not labeled somewhere? You just got a grid of pictures?
Just got a grid of pictures. And no clarity what is what. And it doesn't really let you assign motions. See, RPG Maker MZ, you work with it a little bit. Well, you can take control of it a little bit, but you're also, unless you want to go really into the code and start making a lot of changes, you also kind of cooperate with what it wants to do. In this case, a lot of these animations are not useful. I do not know what this is. I think that this is a gun firing, and I think this is swinging a sword, which would mean that we can actually ignore these two. This is casting a spell. Maybe this is a gun. Honestly, no idea what this is. Maybe it's like I'm getting ready to attack. Let me see. Yeah, that's what it is.
People.
Yes. What?
Okay, got it. So we get our... Okay, so here we go. So this is what he does just before he's going to attack with one type of skill, and then here's magic casting. So this is supposed to be like physicals. He's got a little preparatory animation. Yes, we're deciphering the Arcane Spirit sheet and the Arcane Sprite sheet. No, I like the Arcane Spirit sheet. The Arcane Spirits of the Sprite sheet.
Okay, so does this system mean that you can't add any like new animation, like if you had like entirely new action to do?
Okay, so actually you can. It is possible to add your own animations and stuff like that, but you're gonna have to go and do coding. And actually, this is so for the battlers, the little these little garblins, I got them called. Garblins normally don't animate at all, but you can go in and you can run a script. And so occasionally you could like stop. You could just like freeze the battle for a second. You run a script, and the script can change their image, and you can time how the image changes. So you could actually do a little animation with those guys, like if an event happens or something like that, or like, oh, I want like a monster to rear up on its hind legs. You could do a brief animation of that. You could also kind of do the same thing with your little side battlers, but you're going to have to program it. Otherwise, the game just has a bunch of action calls that occur in response to things, and what it's looking for is just like specific positions in the sprite sheet. So we're not actually going to use all of them, which is going to be a waste of like, I think this whole block. This whole block is all weapons, and we're not using weapons, we just have skills. So, but the thing is though, is that it doesn't tell you anywhere like what these do. So this here is like, I'm getting ready to attack. And in our case, it's I'm not getting ready to attack, but I'm about to fire my gun, is what it is.
Okay, if you're like stuck with this sheet, can you like steal frames into other animations? Like you idle, can you get more frames because you have so many you're not using?
No. It would be nice if you could, but no. It's gonna read these 3 frames. You get to animate on 3s, and it's gonna use 3 frames. And so we're kind of locked in to that. We could go into the code and change it. Like it's not immutable. We would just have to change the code.
Right, that's very not user friendly for such like a major part of the.
They actively and I think they honestly just dislike. I think they dislike the side view battle thing. They actually dropped it for many generations of RPG Maker. Like it for a long time they just didn't offer it anymore. It was in RPG Maker 2003, like one of the earliest iterations. And then they just dropped it. So
does it mean it's like a more robust animation system otherwise in the program, or is it just like this everywhere?
It's pretty much like this in most places, and one of the things that you can do to get around it is you can actually. So with the sprites, we can do animations, and what we have to do, and this is bizarre, is we have to like select the picture of the sprite and say like, okay, so this is your new sprite, this is your new who you are, and then we're gonna have to tell it like, okay, change into this sprite, do this animation. So there's some weird things that we're gonna have to do. It's not gonna be too bad. There's also some way, like we could do like common events, which is, for example, where you're gonna just call the same event over and over again. So we could do a set animation, for example, and have that be something that we like we just call it. So like if we want a specific animation, we just say do this animation, and we have it be set.
Right. I'm just surprised. I expected like the animation to at least be very like friendly for someone to just like go and import a bunch of frames.
Yeah, you'd think that would be what they do. You'd think. It's not.
What animation is this one? It's like very minor movements.
This is him getting ready to fire the gun. The movements are pretty minor because it's just a preparatory animation. He's not really doing a lot. Mainly I'm just trying to get his legs straightened out so that he doesn't. Because he's actually okay. Because his back leg is actually kind of coming up a little bit, and I don't really want that. And he's got chicken legs, which really complicates the process of trying to figure out, like, okay, so if I gotta move this joint, I'll get used to it, but for now it's a little bit much.
I mean, doesn't Toon Boom support IK skeletons?
Modern Toon Boom has support for things that do make things easier. I never really learned some of those modern systems.
Let's see. Because at least putting on some like IK bones on the legs might actually just be worth it for the amount of time they will save you. I can do a quick search.
Maybe we want to go ahead and point the gun out. See,
Okay, yeah. I won't sidetrack you now, but yeah, it's there and it's very easy. It might be worth considering, because then essentially just move the body and the legs will just like simulate the movement, and the feet will stay placed where they are until you move them yourself.
Yeah, that's a newer feature. They didn't have that back when I first started.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I think even Flash had it. A useless version of it, but even it had it.
Yep, it's newer. Or at least newer than Toon Boom 12, I want to say.
Yeah, because like chicken, like bones like that are pretty much made for chicken legs. I like animated with something similar before, and yeah, it is horrible doing it by hand. Every single angle.
It's like where should these legs be? It's like how do I get where I'm supposed to be? How do I do it? Okay, let's see. There we go. That should be fine. Will not expand? Oh, there we go. Okay, we'll call this 10 gun ready. Yeah, Carvel, there's a way now that you can kind of set up like you basically you can tell the system where the feet are, more or less, and then if you were to like pick up the body, the feet would stay planted, and they're it does make it easier to like do walk cycles and things like that because the legs will follow the floor instead of the whole body rig.
Yes. Like usually you have like a switching rig, so you can go between. Like that's just called inverse kinematic or IK bones, are the one that stay in place, and then you have FK. But FK you only use when you move around. So like in a RPG standing still animation set, you will like pretty much only need IK. So it's very easy. It's honestly like basic math. You just put in bones and then you just set area, like which direction you want it to bend, and then yeah, it just does it everything for you.
Let me see. Maybe change the mouth too. Oops. That a little bit bigger. There we go. And how about we add let's see, gunfire to the whole thing. Just do it. Straight shot out of it there. There we go. Add some orange. And then do we want to add like glow to the gun barrel? I kind of feel like we should. Let's get our original gun back. back, send the gun back a pretty good ways. See. So this whole shooting action ought to be let me see, we start here. And then and back to normal. I think he'll walk back. So what if I... I don't like that he eases the gun back to his original position. That's no good. It's got a little bit more kick if it... There we go.
Yeah, I think we're like very small sprites. The more movement, the better.
There we go. It's got this kind of like fat guy look with the glare. That'll be fine. Like Volt points out that RPG Maker MZ is user friendly in that you're not actually supposed to change anything about how it works. You're honestly, like I said, the side view sprites are genuinely not they're I really just don't think that they expect anyone to be using them. Because like I say, they had him in RPG Maker 2003, and I really liked them. And then they dropped them. And I'm pretty sure it's just because they were like, this is tons more animation work for somebody. But I just feel like it's so much more like the flat character on the screen, like just okay, so I've got just a drawn guy and he's not doing anything special is I don't know, where's the excitement? Where's the pizzazz? We can do better. Oh shoot. No, that's actually I got the things numbered incorrectly. Actually, firing the gun comes later. Amusingly enough. So okay, so now I gotta check Does he cross his arms before he does this attack? He does. Okay. Because they reuse their stuff. So here we go. So here's the actual attack animation. So we're actually... so we do this get ready for things, and then we've got some dead stuff. Victory animation. So this is going to be way down here. So instead of gunfire being 13, 14, 15, we're going to want it to be something else. It's weird. It's logical that it would come afterward, but for some reason that's not how they do it. Okay, so what are we actually? That's 3. That's 27, 20, 30, 31. It's actually the 31st sprite. It's 32. And then 33. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. On trams. We have a single tram in our city, over in the Kansas City area. It's like one tram. And what I hear is that like they've been working on it. It's really great. We love it, but they're going to sell it to a private company once it's done. So it's kind of like, I guess that the city doesn't want to have private trams for very long. They just want private trams for a short period, for a brief period. So sell it off and then immediately have them tank the entire thing. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like everybody loves the that tram system, and it is a shame that they're planning on selling it off. So here's a thought. What do we want to do for a victory thing? Like, what should the robots do when they win a battle? We could just have confetti come down. Just be like, yay! Confetti! Bzz.
The brain can do a jig.
The brain can do a jig. I'd have to redraw it. The brain's not a separate symbol.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that then.
Arms up in celebration is like the classic thing that they always do. It's gonna be animated. We get 3 frames to work with. It would make more sense. So for the non-player characters, there's 3 non-player characters, and they all have personalities. So we could do something that would be like that would fit their personality. We could also just have the player character stand motionless, and just like that's.
Let that be the time when it blinks. It blinks when it wins.
He's gonna like just blink over and over, blast confetti out of the gun. Oh, that would be kind of funny. Like stick the gun up in the air and just like fire it off, like bang, 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 bang. We only have 3 frames to work with, though.
I mean, that's enough. You just need like 2 frames with him pointing upwards, oscillating. Can you spawn confetti separately, or does that have to be part of?
It's got to be part of
the
a
sprite.
I mean, I can draw it in. It'll be fine. Let's do. I kind of like bang, bang, bang confetti, because we'll just draw it into the gun symbol. It'll be fine. Bang, bang, bang confetti. Let's see. Let's lean back a little bit. Keep our feet mostly planted. We could throw their arms up in the air, because that's one of the things is we wouldn't have to. Well, we probably should have his arms facing out. Do we have anything like that that'll work for that? Yeah. Because he's gonna like throw his hands up. Alright, we got this animation. Put the gun up here. I don't know about confetti, because the confetti has to like fall down as the thing, and I don't know if we'll be able to do that with just 3 frames, but we can certainly fire the gun a couple of times, at least like once, and then have him.
I mean, 3 frames falling should be enough, because you get away with a lot of abstraction in like pixel context. So if you just shoot like a lot of confetti, people won't be able to track individual ones, and then you can just like have them move. A lot of movement, and it just seems like confetti going everywhere.
Confetti cannon. 1, 2, 3. bend this down a little bit and bring the arm up, and then. So let me bring this down a bit. Yeah, the arms up is a really easy one. It's very clear. Hello, Ruby Owl. Yeah, it's Friendbot. Little Jam. We're bringing him back. We're giving him life. Okay, so, and then he kind of does a little loop. And that'll be his loop as he just fires the gun up in the air. And I guess I could do confetti. Just don't know how well it'll read ultimately. The fire in the gun is good enough. That'll probably be good. Like the waving his hands around, like yay! You did it. Okay. What number are we on? I think we're 15. I think this is 16. Yeah. Victory! Okay. Frame 17. What is this? Ruby asks. We're making a video game. And we're going to do animations for the video game. So we've got ourselves a character rig. We're going to have multiple character rigs ultimately. And at some point we're going to do cutscenes and things like that with the little guys. Right now we're just making their battle animations. I wonder if he should look worried while he's running away. Probably look worried. Yeah, I'll redo that. Actually, it's fine like that. Okay, we'll get worried face. There we go, yeah. Let me see, what was it? Looks like I named them wrong anyway. Okay, I'll just clear these out. 6, 7, retreat. These little guys will also be a little bit bigger than the default RPG Maker sprites because they are kind of spread out as it is. So I just scaled them up a little bit. And hopefully I'm not going to need to like do a whole bunch of addition. We could test it out, I think, by adding a sprite sheet now, and we could see what it looks like with what we have. I wish it didn't make all these XLI files when it was exporting. I wonder if there's a way to turn that off. All right, but let me get out the texture packer. I'll see what happens when we drag everything into the texture packer, what we have anyway. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we do have this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's gonna be 9 files to one side. 9 times, I think, what did I say, 70 pixels? 75. So 675. Texture packer's got to be 675. Disable these pro features. They're actually doing more harm than good. And then let's go ahead and export that. Bit out Clip Studio and increase the size of that thing to twice what it is. Change canvas size, the height. We will make this 450. Then export again as just make it battle sprites. Yes. Can't do that because it's already open. Right. Wasn't sure if it was going to stop me or not. Okay, battle sprites. Let's call it battle sprite. Okay, we don't need to save that. So here we go. We're gonna drop this into our game and we'll see what it looks like. I think it should be fine to take it like that. So here we go. Side view battlers. Unit 1 is battle sprite. Nope, it hates that. Maybe do I not have, probably don't have the correct number of things spread out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What do I actually have going on here? We got the texture packing wrong. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I got the texture packing wrong. Dang it. 75 times 9. What was I getting? 675. Well. What? Let me. Okay. 675. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why is it only putting 6 in there? That's the problem. Okay. Okay, now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't see the rest of the sheet. No, okay. Texture packer, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there we go. This is, here's our problem. All right, all right. Type 11750. Okay, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it actually needs to be 3 times the size. So 150, 300, 450. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, we'll export that. Yep, good and great. There we go. Okay, RPG Maker. Let's go ahead and do this. Now our battlers look correct. And we'll test out our the animations we've got. So there he is. They shrink him down? Oh, they give him his own little shadow, too.
Oh, look at the little guy.
Yeah, he's in there, but they give him his own shadow. I was not anticipating his own shadow. Goblins!
Maybe you can turn it off.
The shadows? Yeah, it would be better if I could.
Right.
How do... Yeah, okay, so he runs away correctly. That's fine. I don't... I mean, I'm sure that there's... like, that's one of those things that they just don't... I would honestly be stunned if they had an option to turn off the shadow. I think I just gotta... I'm gonna have to... just re-export without a shadow. This is an unexpected fly in the ointment, really. But anyway, though, we'll kill the goblins, and we'll see our victory. Yeah, everything. Looks like it does anything. doing great at this. Kill him!
It's not showing up on stream.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it would help. It would help, I guess, if you guys could see it. We're having some struggles with these goblins. They are surviving longer than I expected. Oh, there's one down. Alright, fire the rocket pod. There we go. Hey, look at him there. He waves his arms around. Alright, so that's nice that it works. I'm not super thrilled about the fact that they add their own shadow for me. I also think that they might be shrinking the sprite down.
I mean, that is a lot of unused real estate on the screen. It's
It really is. I don't know why. It's not how I would have built it. When I was working on this game in Unity, I definitely filled up a lot more of the screen. But I don't know. That's how they want it. But okay, so a couple of weird things. One of the weird things is that I think our feet have basically got to be touching the... I guess they expect all the high effort stuff to be in the background. Yeah, that could be. Needing to remove the shadow for just these things is such a pain in the butt. Why? I gotta lower the whole everything down. Well, luckily for us, we have a master peg, and we can just use that to go ahead and drop the whole thing down a couple of inches, and then that way it'll fit within the...
But you're just moving the master peg down, right? You're effectively animating it?
Huh? No, I'm just moving the master peg down so that he'll be standing in the shadow. Because I guess it looks like what it's doing is just shrinking the sprite down to the size that it wants the sprite to be, regardless of what I'm doing. I mean, it is. I think it's actually it's 68 by 68 by default, and so these guys are 75 by 75. So I expected him to be a little bigger, and I'm a little surprised that he's not. I wonder what'll happen if I like make him 200 by 200. Like, is it gonna be... Here, I'll just get rid of this shadow. No more shadow, because we have shadows. We have shadows by default, unasked for, unprompted, completely undesired, but they're there. And then we're just gonna be careful that we don't set our foot out of camera. Right here, hold on. The dog is begging at the door. She might need to go out. Just give me a second here.
The dog is barking, saying good morning.
I don't remember what version of RPG Maker Greg was using.
No. Let's ask him when he comes back.
Okay, because I'm googling and they're claiming that like most RPG Maker will allow you to just have bigger sprites as long as like the amount of cells or sprite animations are consistent. Seems like you
There's
can.
gotta be some kind of way to change the camera, right? Like the amount of frames that everything fills up or that it's zoomed in on. Because, like, yeah, no, that's ridiculous what it looks like right now. It's so small. I don't know, like, it might not be something in the settings. It might be something, you have to, like, open up some files and edit them as, like, a text editor format. But
There's nowhere for you to sit. You're gonna want out like a second. Okay, the dog didn't actually want out. She's just lonely.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Greg, which version of RPG Maker was this?
This is MZ. So,
MZ?
MZ. Mayonnaise Zeta. I don't know. I don't know what.
RPG Maker Mizzy.
Mizzy.
I mean, I'm doing a quick Google and it says that you can make the sprites any like size you want as long as the amount of cells and like how it's divided is consistent.
Yeah, you can do that, but I'm wondering though, does it shrink them down anyway?
I will do a test. I think it's best to just do like a larger resolution test and see if anything changes.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and we're gonna find out. But it's weird though, because if you can make them bigger, then in theory, like, it still creates a little shadow for you no matter what, which is pretty comical. It's just like, yeah, make them any size you want, but the shadow is non-negotiable.
thinking, what if the size that they are, it just has something to do with like Greg's specific PC specs, right? So he makes it bigger so it looks good on his computer, and then he exports the game, and it's like the characters are massive.
I mean, that would be really frustrating.
I love the idea that, like, I took a pay cut to make sure the pixels will always be at this size.
But like certainly even in the code, like surely it's like a function we can just like delete from the code, right?
Yes, the shadow is definitely being drawn somewhere in the code. Anytime you get into something that's like, oh, I can't change this, it can be changed. We just have to find where in the code are they telling it to draw this shadow, and then tell it to knock it off because you're holding us back here.
I will say, I worked on a game project a little while ago, and it never really turned into anything. But something I definitely learned is you want to go for like the Fallout New Vegas approach. I think when you're making an indie game, especially with just a couple developers, and that means to me like. I think it's better for a game to have a large variety of content and be like unpolished and kind of have problems. Like I don't know, everybody's shadows too long, then to get bogged down in every little thing. Like like, oh, I need to make sure like this looks right. No, I need to make sure that looks right, and it burns up all your time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Also, stuff like art is very easy to iterate on. Like if you make the game playable, and then you have like a lot of time left, then it's a lot easier to just go back in and polish art than there is to like fix up code.
Yeah,
at least for me.
This is one of the basics, though. I mean, I gotta get the little guy on the right hand side of the screen, and he's gotta do these things when we.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning. It's a bit different for a YouTuber because I usually need to like make progress visible for the people that's like following its development.
Well, yeah, I mean, just like if you have like, I don't know, I think people would see more progress from like 100 different. That's a lot, but like a large variety of different weapons that all like look like shit, than like a handful of weapons that are like really detailed sprites. You know what I mean? Just like, and that extrapolates out to many things. But I'm just trying to, it's like that thing where you give advice to your younger self most of the time when you're giving advice, where it's like, oh man, don't get bogged down in the little stuff. Not even saying that's what's happening in this case, but just be careful.
Well, I'm not.
It is very easy to do in games.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about that. At this point, we're just trying to get the. Oh, there we go. This is huge. Okay, so we're gonna have 200, 9, 1800 fixed size. And there we go. It's like a giant sprite sheet, but we'll publish this. Bring it up, expand it, drop it into the thing, find out what that looks like. Okay, change canvas size. This needs to be 3 times larger, so we're going to go for 12,000. 1,200.
I'm gonna do my laundry and make pancakes. I'll be back.
Okay. Here we go, and now we'll see. We'll see what happens when we drop giant sprites in there. Does it just shrink them down? Does it just override me? Because if so,
maybe make them big.
I'm excited to see.
Yeah. Oops, those are the walk cycles. So it shows that it shows it as being huge. All right, let's check it out. Let's see. Oh, he's huge. Great. Perfect. His
Woo! Oh yeah, already looking way better.
Yeah. So the change in the size does help out a lot. But it's
This is now hilarious. I love the giant robot with the big happy face.
Yeah. He can't be, I don't think he can be quite that big because it's well, it's too big, but we can definitely go bigger. Let's try maybe like 125 by 125. That maybe 100 by 100. It's hard to say. So the default is like 68 by 68, and it puts down a little shadow for us. And so we kind of have to play ball with the shadow that it made.
No, don't think about shadow. We'll kill that later. Just make sure the sprites look good.
Well, if we're gonna kill it, I mean, I could bring my own shadow back. That's the thing. That's the worst part. Is I could I drew my own shadow. What are we doing, game? Let's see. We can get into the code. Let's get IntelliJ and here we are. IntelliJ. Oops. Oh, that's my wife, which means this will be it for the stream because after this, I'm gonna get some lunch and then I'll get to work on the other stuff. So yes, thanks for joining me, everybody. I will hopefully see you guys next time.
Bye,
See ya.
Greg.